What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and today, as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about signs if he's going to come back. He's going to come back to your fine ass, okay? So before we even get started, if you can, please subscribe. In the description below is my free ebook, 254 pages, absolutely free, goes over everything we talk about in my videos, and of course, my Patreon if you want to help me build this community. I love you forever. So, what are the signs that this guy is going to come back and give you your second chance? I have a lot of people writing me in my, my clients writing me emails saying, that they want a second chance with this guy, or how do I know he's going to come back, or why should I follow your rules? What if he doesn't come back? Well, here's a couple signs that shows he's going to come back, right? And I'm going to explain why these are signs. Number one is that you guys fought a lot. You guys fought a lot, and when I mean fight, I mean like you just argue and bicker a lot about things, back and forth, and you break up. Now, the reason the guy's going to come back for this is because the guy who argues with women a lot is not in his masculine energy and doesn't know how, I guess isn't up there and ready for relationships mentally. A man should never argue with a woman, and I don't mean that in like a chivalrous way. Fuck that. Both sides should stand up for what they believe and what they think is right. But a man should never argue with a woman, because when a man's in his masculine, he's a provider and a satisfier, and he knows how to handle a woman. And when I say handle, I mean that in a very respectful way. Like when you guys are arguing or talking about something, you sit down and you work it out. You should never argue and never complain, right? Or a guy should never argue and never complain. When a guy complains, actually, you should kick him out. A guy should not complain. Are you fucking kidding me? If a guy's a complainer and he's a whiner and he makes excuses, kick his ass out, right? But you're going to see the overall theme of all of these, and it's because usually a guy's not in his masculine, right? So when a guy's arguing, he's not in his masculine. When the guy's not in his masculine, you're going to see later on what I go over, he's going to come back. You're going to see why. Second thing, I'm just going to go over this one real fast. It's an impulsive breakup. The reason I say this is because guys hate regrets. Guys who are, again, not in their masculine and they break up impulsively, they will come back, and you're going to see why, what I talk about in a little bit. Third is scarcity. When a guy breaks up with somebody and he's out looking about, he's going to do two things. He's going to become an orbiter, which, if you guys don't know what that is someone who comes back around, checks how you're doing for insurance purposes, his insurance purposes, of course. Then he goes back out and does his thing again. Now, if he's not that, then he's going to come back again. A guy's ego is the most important thing to him. He does not want to risk it getting hurt. He does not like getting turned down. He does not like the fact that he's out there and he has a scarce amount of women to talk to, or none. So he's going to come back and plead and be with you, okay? He's going to want to be with you. When he's out there and he does not see anything, he's going to come back. And if I was you, I'd kick him to the side if that's the case. Now, the fourth thing, which I think kind of wraps all these things up, right, is he's seeking validation from you. When he was with you and he was weak and he was seeking validation, or he was trying to get your approval with things, this is a weak man who is not in his masculine, and he will come back. That's just how these guys are. They like to try to get the power from a woman by breaking off and showing her, I don't need her, fuck her, screw this, I'm gonna go show her, and then break off and then regret it and come back. Again, going through these four things, I shouldn't even have gave you four reasons why, or four signs that guys will come back. There's one sign you need to know, and it's a weak, attention-seeking, a validation-seeking man who's not in his masculine. Weak men always come back. Now, of course, there might be a guy who's a great guy, he's not weak, and he realized he made a huge mistake, and he found out that he knows that you're just an amazing guy, and he's fucked up. If that's the case, let him come back if you want, unless he hurts you really bad, and things like that. But usually, I would say a good majority of the time, 2/3, maybe 4/5 of the time, 70-80% of the time, I would say, a lot of guys are just weak and they don't realize how good. It's like when you're at a job and you're like, God, this job fucking sucks. I hate this job. And then you leave and then you go to another job and it's worse, you're like, oh my God, I actually had it really, really well over here despite all, this. That's kind of how guys are. They're going to break off and think, screw this, screw that, and then they realize, okay, I actually had it really good. And because he's a weak man, he's going to come back because he's going to try to seek that validation, or he was already trying to seek it when he was with you. He just shows a lot of red flags from a man's perspective. You know how I always talk about how women are always showing these red flags? When he's with you, he was showing a lot of red flags. Maybe he's not as masculine. He argues a lot. He bitches a lot. He has low confidence, low self-esteem. He's a manipulator. Maybe just a lot of low confident type of actions. Maybe he's just insecure. He's clingy. He's needy. Again, he's seeking validation. Those kind of guys usually always come back. Okay. So I'm not saying when a guy comes back he's a weak man, or that the guy you're dating is weak, but most of the time, yeah, he is. The other 20-30% of the time, he's the good guy who just made a mistake. You guys didn't work out and you worked something, then you guys talk about it and you're back together. But usually when a guy's always arguing with a woman, or that you guys can't settle something, you're not in your natural energies, and this guy doesn't know how to provide a satisfier for a woman. If it's an impulsive breakup, that's an impulsive breakup. That's just a man not thinking. Scarcity, again, that's just a weak guy trying to boost his ego. If he's going out looking for all these women and it's not working out for him to boost his ego back up, he's going to come back, okay? And again, depending if he's an orbiter or not, take him. And finally, he's going to seek that or he's seeking validation when he's with you. That's just a weak man trying to fulfill his ego, trying to get that feeling of being a provider and satisfier. So, that being said, I love you ladies. Take care. Peace.